Welcome to the Texas Truck Channel. I know that's a little bit different than what you're used to, but let's explain that a little bit. We have now updated our branding to the Texas Truck Channel from Brake Check Show, and what that will do is allow us to better suit our market. Turns out our fans like trucks a lot, and our segment in Texas does too. So we're going to do that. Don't worry, Brake Check Show is not gone and forgotten. It will live on this channel in its own dedicated playlist. It'll be just sports cars and a few sedans here and there. Now, on to the review. This is the 2022 Chevy Silverado. This is a LTZ trim, and it has the LM2 Duramax diesel paired with the 10-speed automatic. Let's discuss exterior. Now, this varies from the GMC Twin a little bit in that the nose is different, and that's just about it. Now, we do feel like the body sides are a little sleeker. You have more of this body line starting here and tapering down to the front. This is equipped with the multi-step tailgate, which we joke as a back porch step, but man, it works great. You have this handy dandy step and handle. Seems to be the most intuitive to use out of all the big three trucks. We do like the look of this. In fact, we had the Trail Boss Realtree Edition earlier this year, and we both seem to think this just looks more mature. And that's mostly due to the grille being the non-custom trim. Now, with that all out of the way, let's kick it to Craig and check out the interior. It's cold.
As Brian said, we're in the 4th generation Silverado, also known as a T1 platform for all GM trucks and SUVs. And that means the interior is the same as all those, whether it's the GMC or the Chevy, whatever it is, it's pretty much the same layout. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, once somebody riding around with me said that it's just simple. It's very straightforward, it's very truck focused. You've got a column shifter, which gets you a hipster point, by the way, and it just works. Here's the great thing about this though. This is the LTZ trim, and that gets you things you can't get in the LT or the LT Trail Boss. You get ball chillers, and that's important. So along with that, you get the radar cruise control, which you can't get in all the other trims as well, and that sets the LTZ apart from some of the others. Also has a quiet cab interior. It's a comfortable ride. It's just a good spot to be. And now back to the studio for nuts and bolts. Time for the powertrain portion. The baby Duramax, also known as the LM2. GM finally joins the half-ton diesel party, and like the others, it's 3-liter displacement. Unlike the others, it's an inline design versus the others are a V design. Brian will tell you, but anyways, you get the idea. Rated at 277 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque, with 95% of the peak torque coming in at 1,250 RPM, you're getting it down low. We could spend all day going to the nitty-gritty, but here are the key things that stand out with this baby Duramax. Number one, it's not as heavy because it's not a CGI block, but rather cast aluminum. This is one of the reasons why it's so livable and rides so well compared to other diesels. Number two, active thermal management, or ATM, which utilizes 3 electronically actuated valves moving coolant just where it needs to be. You'll also hear it when you're starting and stopping this thing and turning it off. This also means there's no cold weather issues. They just don't exist here. Number 3, and this is an important one, it has a wet belt style oil pump. Not that big of a deal, but it is designed to be serviced at 150,000 miles. When that takes place, you actually have to drop the tranny to get to it, so just keep that in mind. Last point, speaking of that tranny, it's the 10L80 co-developed with Ford and GM, and it deserves a bunch of credit. GM deserves a bunch of credit here, as their applications of the 10-speed seem to work much better, and that's the same case here as well. With that, let's get over to the suspension.
275, 60, 20, and this is a Goodyear Wrangler Trail Runner AT, and we're actually really happy with this. We've had a lot of Goodyear product tires that are all-terrains that are kind of noisy. These are not, and they seem to have pretty good grip in the dirt and loose stuff. Now, what does Z71 mean on this truck? Well, what that means is twin-tube Rancho shocks right here. It also means a 2-speed transfer case, which is the biggest news, because if you don't have the Z71 or any lower 4-wheel drive package in this truck, you get a single-speed transfer case, which really just means it's ready for ice and snow, inclement weather. This is ready for rocks, this is ready for hill climbs, the actual heavy-duty off-roading stuff. That's good to know. You also get skid plates and a heavy-duty air filter and some floor mats. That's what Z71 means. Now, let's talk about the Silverado bits. What you have here is a short long arm suspension design. The upper control arm is offset and above the wheel outside the barrel. You also have a 4-pot brake, which means 4 pistons. This is not a monoblock cast, but it is actually a really good brake design. We like that. You do have a 6-lug hub, like a lot of modern trucks do, with a hub-centric design. Now, the knuckle is aluminum. The upper and lower control arms are steel. And weirdly enough, the lower control arm has a bolt-on gusset, which we're not used to seeing. That's an interesting design. I'm not sure what the benefit of that is, or if there's any money savings there at all, but that is the design. Now, we do have a front steering rack on this. It's an electric steering rack. It's not hydraulic, but that does help the steering feel, and its road manners are pretty good. Now, with that all covered, let's hit the road and see how it drives.
All right, Brian, enough shop talk. Let's see the dynamics of this bad boy, see what it can do, because it's got a diesel.
I think it's best we warm the tires up.
Oh yeah, warm them up. It's cold today. You want to get good grip.
Okay.
Okay.
Has torque.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Are you in sport mode?
I'm in sport mode. Traction control off. I'm going to brake boost it a little bit.
Hit it. Let's go.
Okay.
Oh, let's start off strong. 60 yet?
Hang on.
Now?
There it is.
Okay, all right.
60. All right.
So is it fast?
No.
Is it slow?
No, like a lot of cars. We say that a lot, but this is the 3-liter LM2, as you've just covered, diesel, the baby Duramax.
Yeah.
And if you're a diesel person, you're going to get it.
It does make diesel sounds.
It makes the fun, like, I don't mean this derogatorily, but like school bus sounds, but like muted. Like the truck feels really professional. It feels really quiet, almost professional grade, almost.
Ooh.
But all the power's down low, and it surprises you sometimes. It'll catch me out driving around town, but then when you do the highway pull, it just falls off like diesels do.
It's a baby Duramax.
It's a baby Duramax, yeah.
But it's a good blend of both worlds. So
yes,
the guy who wants the little bit diesel sound, you get some of that.
Right.
But the wife's not really impressed by that and just wants it to be quiet.
No.
She appreciates it. So it's a good compromise.
And look, anyone, no matter what your tastes are in vehicles, can get in this and not be offended. It's done the thing that the Ford Powerstroke has done, in that it's pretty quiet.
It is.
But this gives you more of the diesel experience. Whereas the Ford 3-liter Powerstroke feels like a Lexus diesel. Like, it's so quiet you don't know it's a diesel. This still tells you it's a diesel, but it's not unrefined and offensive.
Okay, so you told us about these 20-inch rims and Wrangler tires and Rancho shocks and all that business. How does it drive on the road? Because we know this is this truck, this full-size short bed truck. This is what everybody's buying.
Right, the 4-door short bed 4x4.
How does it translate to ride and drive?
Look, I want to compare it directly to the F-150 because we've driven that a lot, and I think it's a great comparable vehicle. This rides a little softer. It's a little bit floatier, but it's not uncontrolled. I feel like GMs in the past have been a little too wallowy. With the Rancho shocks and the Z71 pack, this is like a really happy medium.
Okay.
And I find it really comfortable, and with a great camera system, it's easy to park.
That's really nice. The real world.
It's like shockingly livable.
It's real world. Like I don't like camera systems typically.
No, me neither.
But I used it several times in tight parking garages.
I like it when they work, and this one works.
It does.
So yeah, how does it ride and drive? Look, the turn-ins, it's a truck, okay? But it's not wallowy like the F350s of the world with the solid front axle. This is nothing like that. This is more refined. Think like a Tahoe front end, the live axle on the rear. I like it. I think it rides and drives really well.
I will say, in my neighborhood, with all the bumps I have, the Trail Boss we recently had rode a little better over bumps. Okay. But this does handle better. Well, on the slightly, because it's just slower.
Yeah, and I was going to get into that next. This is actually, it does the GM trick where it's Z71, which doesn't mean anything anymore.
Not really.
Not like it used to.
Yeah.
Because Z71 back in the day meant it rode a lot higher, and it just had a better presence.
Yeah.
You have to find the badge in this to know it's Z71.
Right.
Now the Trail Boss fills that void.
Yep.
And the FX4 is doing the same thing. It's kind of watered down. This is so soft that people in the past have said, I'm not buying a 4-wheel driver. It rides rough and it's too high. Well, this is for the guy that wants the all-wheel drive traction without the climb to get in the cab. It's low. The trade-off is you're not rock crawling this thing.
I did do the dirt road trick at speed with this, and the auto 4-wheel drive is the best. Love that.
That is awesome.
Fords
yeah.
have that too. Plenty of manufacturers have that,
Yeah.
but that's just fun on a dirt road because then you kind of get the best of both worlds.
Well, and you're not stuck in the 50-50 split power distribution.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
right.
really nice. I love that it has that.
But I did bottom out, hit those bump stops a few times because it's not made for, the suspension's not
That's
for
not
a
its
speed
goal.
on. That's
This
not
is
what
a
it's
highway
for.
killer is what this is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you're doing a road trip to Minneapolis and you got to deal with snow and stuff, this is great.
Oh, yeah.
It's got a good tire for it. It's got the all-wheel drive traction, the auto, and it rides wonderfully.
Absolutely. Okay, Brian, it's about time for a hipster score.
My favorite part.
So I know what we scored to Sierra a few months back.
Remind me, what was that?
It was a 4.
Do we agree on that?
We did, actually.
Pretty much? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So 3, 2, 1, 4.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
changed.
that was.
Yeah.
And just like in the Sierra, it's basically column mounted shifter,
Right.
not a Raptor,
Not a Raptor.
Apple CarPlay, and diesel.
and diesel point. Full point on the diesel
Yep,
because it is
yep.
different enough.
It is.
And it's kind of cool. And if you you can't run biodiesel on this, unfortunately.
No,
'cause of
but
that fluid. But
some people might think you can.
the idea is right. The idea is that it is more efficient in terms of gallons consumed.
Exactly.
Now, I do want to touch on that a little bit. It is better, but it's not brilliant.
Yeah,
We're averaging, just driving normally, we're averaging 21-ish, give or take. And the Trail Boss, without trying, I was averaging 20. Now, that was a 5.3,
Yeah.
the 6-speed. But
It's just not light years better.
right. Now, but if you want a diesel, this is awesome.
Yes.
Be very clear about that. Okay, I think it's time we hit up the hill test.
Let's see what that Z71 can do on the hill.
Or not, because we haven't tried this yet.
Or not. Yeah, we'll find out. We're going to find out together.
Let's go.
All right, Brian, we got the hill. We've never really explained the hill here
Yeah.
on the Texas Truck Channel, so what's going on with it?
Yeah, so you can't tell. The cameras flatten everything out, but this is about an 18-foot elevation climb.
Yeah,
from where the truck is now, right there. Okay, it's below us, and this goes up. Now, we've rutted this out a little bit, so it's a little less drastic of a lip right here, but we do have to climb up this, and this is what gets every vehicle. You often have to work one tire up the right side so that the nose doesn't scrape right here on this high point, right?
And again, this doesn't show well on camera.
Right.
But I'm going to tilt the camera at angle that it actually is.
Right.
That's it right there. I mean, it's a pretty good angle.
Yeah, I'm leaning myself over.
Yeah.
And then you've got to climb the next wheel up here, and then that lip isn't that hard, but there is more elevation to it. And that's that. And so this is the top of a little gas well pad in your area. So that's flight elevation, works all the way down to that truck. Let's give it a try. Whoop, whoop, and don't fall.
And that's how steep
That's
it
how
is.
steep it is. And the nose of this truck is my greatest concern. Let's see if it works. We haven't tried it yet.
You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right, what modes you got?
I've got, let's do that.
Off-road?
Off-road. That's
do you need that?
the only mode there is.
Okay. For high, for low?
Let's try, you want to try auto?
You can. It's not really made for rock crawling.
I
You got the
usually
G80 locker, it's going to kick in.
I'm going to do 4 high because it's a diesel. I don't think it needs it.
Okay, all right.
Like the biggest issue we're going to have is just rubbing the nose.
Yeah, approach angles.
It should make it fine if we don't rub the nose.
All right, let's see.
How's that nose? Cleared it. All right. Man, that was fine. How was the nose?
Not bad.
Okay.
I mean, a little rub on the front plastic little clip on the bottom. but
Oh, okay.
Not much at all.
Man, that's not bad. Better than I thought. Did good. Let's go wrap this thing up.
All right, Brian, we've tested about all we can test on this truck. This limited model back here behind us. So
I'm glad you brought that up, Craig, because it reminds me of a Ram Classic.
Or an F-150 Heritage.
Yes. And what that means is they have some parts left over. They need to get sold off. So this is a 22, and yes, there's an all-new 22 coming, but this is really just last year's truck.
Yeah.
Not that that's a bad thing.
No.
It's just know that limited, that's what that means.
One of the things you can get in this newer model is this is what we're sitting on right here.
Totally.
You can get it on
The
more.
19s didn't have that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that isn't. There are some updates in here.
So it's not completely old. Okay,
Right.
with that though, who is this truck for?
Oh man,
Like,
this
who
is,
needs a half-ton diesel?
this is for the discerning diesel man. And we've talked about diesel man. Diesel man is a man that just, he's got to have it. He's got to have the knock knock. He's got to have the puff puff. And that's what just gets him going. That's what makes him excited about trucks. And this is for the guy that realizes I don't need 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. I need enough to pull my boat.
Your sailboat, maybe.
Your sailboat, perhaps. Like I said.
Or your yacht.
Or your yacht. This might be the Saab diesel man. Saab doesn't exist anymore. Saab man grew up, needs a truck.
The thinking diesel man, the Renaissance diesel man. Yes. Okay. I like it.
Enough rambling. Moral of the story is, this will cover the daily truck duties and not have this huge diesel compromise where it needs a bunch of dev fluid. This still needs it, but not a ton.
Right.
And it's just livable. Like, anyone can drive this and not complain about it.
Yep.
That's really it.
And props to GM. One of the best things about this thing is they don't charge too much for that premium for the diesel, which means they're going to sell a ton of them. It's not going to be a unique, rare thing soon, because I think a lot of people are going to have these.
No, and that's a good point. Whereas Ford and the Powerstroke priced it so insane, it wasn't going to happen. And that's pretty cool. I love that it's an inline six. Extra points for inline six.
Agreed.
That's really cool.
Thanks for watching. If you are into trucks, this is the place to be. Please be sure to subscribe to Texas Truck Channel.
Yep.
Like and subscribe.
All the above. And look, we're going to have a lot more of those coming.
Yep.
Again, if you're into sports cars and you've subscribed previously, don't worry, we're going to have that as well. But we're really focusing to capture the truck environment that we live in right here in Texas.
Absolutely. With that, thanks for watching.
See you later.